Hey, so we just made it on our maiden voyage. The car is now fully aligned. Took it down to the local hot rod shop, had an alignment done. If you're curious, the axle was off by about a half inch, so they adjusted that. With where the master cylinder is, even with the caster camber UMI plates, unless I took them off and carved out around them, I was able to get negative 1.02 camber on each side. And the caster, I'd have to look on the sheet, but I think it was about 4 or 5, something like that. I got to look at the sheet again. But still shaking out some bugs right now. The transmission's getting hot. I got maybe a bigger, I think I undersized the cooler on here. So that's not what we're focused on today. But today we're going to work on these door panels. And these are made by Acme Auto, ordered off a Hawk's website. To my specifications with the color and material. It's kind of what they look like. I kind of was under the assumption that these came fully ready to go, and I was wrong. So what we're doing here is we're going to go over assembly and prep. Now, one of the things you have to buy new or reuse, right, is the window felts. I had a set. I wasn't accounting for the top of the door, so these are from a junkyard. And when I found them, they were laying in the car, and someone had just ripped them off the door card, and a couple of these got damaged. So what I did is, because these washers are a specific size that come on here. They're kind of a 10 millimeter. And what I did was I just sat here patiently with a needle nose and just kind of worked them off. They're grooves. And then I took a little bit of 2-part plastic epoxy and I had a plastic glove on. And I just kind of worked that epoxy around these threads so that when I put it back together, the washers would have some new material to bite on and hopefully not slip. These little guys here. So that's where we're at now. I won't tip this one over, but basically, if you're not sure, the side with the wider slant goes towards the front of the car. So we are actually working on the driver's side. One of the other things I noticed is that on these, somehow GM presses these in using, I don't know if these are plastic thermal rivets, but I was not able to get these new ones stretched over that. So I ended up cutting them off with an X-Acto knife. And I'm just kind of doing it the old school way and running these are really HVAC screws, but they're gonna work just fine. They bite nice in the plastic. They don't have to be super tight, so don't overdo it. So we just ran those down the line. Making sure you get the window support in the right area, it's important. You should be able to tell because 1, it won't line up, and 2, these channels should line up with the channels that are in this plastic top for the door cards. So we got it slid in to these plastic retainers. A little bit tricky, just be patient, because you got to get it over those plastic lips and then try to align those pins into the new foam. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of pulling these together, kind of finding where that pokes through, taking the X-Acto knife, carving that foam out, and then slowly working on these. I'm not going to go tight with all of them right away. I just want them to bite to where they're not going to slip off. And then when I'm done, I'll work probably from the center outward. And again, you don't want to tighten them so tight that I don't want to say strip, but you strip that plastic lug, but just tight enough to grab the door card. You gotta remember, once this is snapped in, it's not really going anywhere. These door cards, again, from Hawks are nice. They have a bunch of pre-punched spots that you need. And then all the other optional stuff is something you have to kind of take an X-Acto knife and pull this out and then cut what you need, which is fine. We're running, this is a 92, so we have the triangle shaped door handle mechanism assemblies. We'll have to figure out where the armrests bolt in. And then the cup holder, all the holes for the cup holders are in here. And these are actually from Hawks as well. And these are their 3D printed ones. And boy, it is nicely done. Like the texture on the outside of these is phenomenal. I wish they made the buttons, but I didn't see them. I might have to call BJ over there and ask. But these are going to be great. These came with a hardware kit, and honestly, these were, I think, $89 a piece. Whereas, you know, new old stock or something like that is going to run you, I think, $299 or more just for a cup holder and a map pocket. But for that price, we're going to put them on our door. These door cards also came with all new door clips, which is great. Again, we'll go over, but we're going to want to take our time putting those in. So I'm going to set you up on high speed while I go through and knock out this first one. It's going to be a lot of flipping over and checking which holes need to be cut. And then we're also going to have to make sure that it lines up good enough, because you're also going to have to reuse, let me get up here a little higher, this trim. This is that, it's really a transition trim between the two different styles of fabric on the door panels. I could have gone out and got some nice matte paint. This is the last can of black paint I had, so they're a little shiny, but if we don't like it, we can deal with it later. I wanted something durable that was going to last. So this is actually, I think, the only black paint I had left in the shop was ceramic brake rotor paint. So that's what that is. So that's kind of what we're doing. Again, if you can reuse these, great. I've tried a couple aftermarket ones, and these seem to be a very specific size and width. So you can find aftermarket ones, but a lot of times they're too skinny, and they'll just slip right through that hole, where these are wide enough to grab that without adding additional width, because these plastic pins are not all that long. So let me show you one other thing here, if I can get this poked through. One of these did break. So I ended up taking a little bit of, do I have any left? I want to say it's 6/32 threaded rod. Cut a little piece out about the right size. Is that in this one maybe? Which piece was that in? Oh, it must have been in this one. And then I heated it up, melted it back into the plastic, let it cool, and it felt pretty solid already. Then I just took some more of that plastic epoxy, went around the base of it. Trust me, that stuff holds very well. And again, this doesn't have to be super tight. We just don't want it flapping around. So we're going to slowly work over this. These are door cards as ordered here. We're like $380. So I want to take my time, make sure we cut in the right spots and don't wreck them. Ouch. That'd be an expensive mistake. Okay, I wanted to take you in here and look at this a little bit. Now, these are repop. We can't expect them to be perfect. But I do want to show you that, you see that mark here? If you look where the perforations are in the back for this trim, that's where they start. And if you line that up, right, you end up with too big a gap over here and not high enough to close the gap up top. So I'm hoping this will hide it good enough. You might just see, maybe I can get a little bit of colored caulk or whatever and just make that disappear. But I think I'm going to start up here, make sure that one, we're close enough to the top, and that two, this is really meant to hide this material transition. So I'm just going to kind of maybe line this up to where something like that, where maybe this piece is more into this top. Suck this down. So we're going to kind of line this up. That's going to be step one. And then everywhere one of these is, I'm going to mark it with a paint marker. I'm going to stab it with a pick. And then I will push these through, and we'll flip this over and probably take a piece of wood and a dead blow and just staple these back down. You can kind of see the orientation that they were bent, kind of like whoop, you know, whoop. So we'll hammer them down the same way so we don't stress that connection. because to my knowledge, you can't buy these. I haven't seen them for sale anywhere. So we'll be a little careful. We'll figure out how we want this to look. I'll grab a paint marker and we will start there, I think. So I've done enough, I don't even want to call it upholstery, but let's just say interior work to know that always double check, especially aftermarket stuff. You know, nothing against Hawks. I would say overall these are good quality, but these should really be considered guidelines. For instance, I'm going to show you here. You can see where we punched through versus where they recommend it, right? And I'm pretty sure even if you read the directions, they'll say, please verify, blah, blah, blah. So if we turn this over, now you can see, right, where my original oops mark was, now that I have to live with that forever. This didn't follow my own advice. But we'll take care of that. Not too worried about that. It's going to be very minute overall. But I think I like the way these are fitting on here. Factory had a little gap up here. These are going to look nice. Can't cry over spilled milk. Now, you know, sometimes I just get in a rush like everybody out there, right? So now I'm going to push these down, make sure these staples are all the way out. It's going to be important. I will probably use one 2x4 to push down and another one to pry these over and bend all those staples flat. And then we can move on probably to, we need to verify cup holders. They're, I think, that one, this one, and that one. I forget. We still have all the door clips to put in. And then we should really verify. This might be a little more tricky. Might have to hang this on the door, see if we can see behind it how accurate this is. Worst case, we can maybe try to get this cardboard out, not cut the fabric, and then figure out what else we need or don't need. And then these are pretty much done. This wasn't too terrible of a process. Well, I guess we'll see what the finished product looks like. But all right, I'm gonna put you on time lapse while I hammer down the staples, and then I'll probably grab a couple 2x4s just to prop this up, and then we'll go and see what it looks like. All right, so here's kind of our, I don't want to say finished product yet, but we have our cheaply painted trim put back on. It has the factory gap on both sides. I think just to keep that from ripping, I think I'm just gonna go over that with, clean up with some degreaser and just go over a little clear silicone, just so that it doesn't rip, tear. A little silicone glue will be fine in there. That should blend in enough with the color by the time I'm done. Now, like I said, I got to figure out, I think they go like that, cup holders, and you should be able to use these, actually maybe off the car even. And yeah, I believe it should go like that somewhere. We got all new aftermarket buttons, and we already have the door handles on, obviously. But stock ones had a broken clip, and it just, these actually look like they're pretty decent quality. They're actually stamped kind of like the factory ones were. Comes with the button, which a lot of times is missing. So carefully pop it out so you don't break it to get that screw in the door. And that's for the unlock lock, which we also, thanks to Hawks, got a whole kit of those, which is great because I tested the old buttons and they were, you can't get inside to fix the corrosion. So once corrosion starts inside these, you're pretty much out of luck. Mine were, I had one set that worked, but they were super faded. These really nice and crisp with the lettering. So we'll make sure we take care of that. But got a car show coming up this Saturday. We're going to try to get the Firebird 2. I'm just waiting on a transmission cooler. That's a whole nother issue. Hopefully that shows up from Amazon today. But yeah, we're gonna get these cleaned up here. I've been making dirt smudges and everything else, so we'll clean these up, get some more holes cut, and we'll go from there. Like I said, this will be the next big, does that actually work out like it's supposed to? So I'll set you back up. We'll test it on the door, see how everything looks before we put any clips on, because those clips have a habit of just grabbing. And I'm actually hoping those clips are in the right locations. That's probably the most critical out of everything. It'd be a pain to try to cut that cardboard in the right spots. So we'll get this opened up. I'll get you moved over and we'll see what steps we are going to do next. So it looks like that's going to fit okay. I did run into one issue. I'm gonna have to take probably a cutoff wheel of these screws. I guess that makes sense. They do sit right against these lips, and those screws are going to be in the way. Not a big deal. We could always rivet this if it becomes an issue, but you know, later on it's so much easier just to remove screws than it is those damn rivets. So we'll take a cutoff wheel, cut all those off. That should be pretty quick and painless. I can take my time so I don't scar this plastic. And then this did look like it's in the right shape. So we will cut this pattern out for the door handle, and all the stuff for the cup holders we're going to tackle separately. So door handle is the next big thing, and we'll test fit that piece, and then we'll test fit it to the door. Well, it's the next day again, and we are back on these doors. I have a number of these clips in already, and there is some confusion with people on these, so I'm just going to try to point these out here. But these do kind of turn in to these holes, these elongated holes in the door panels, and they're not supposed to seat all the way back. There is actually a gap built into this clip. So as long as you have this first, call it plate, sitting underneath the cardboard backing, you're going to be good. And I've been gently using a screwdriver to separate the material a little bit, because the material is adhesive down to the cardboard, and you have to get between that fabric, the material, and that other side of the cardboard backing. So that's what we're doing here. I am using a linesman's style pliers. So for instance, this one is a little hard to go in. I'm just gently grabbing it, moving it back and forth until it's free. I'm not crushing these. Obviously you don't want to crush these. These are those Christmas tree Jesus clips. But you just want them to be not loose, but just so they can move in that hole, because we're going to eventually have to line them up with the holes in the door. The other thing I'm going to do here is, once I have this door panel all said and done, I have a spray can of a 1K clear coat. I'm going to tape off just the edges of the doors here, and I'm just going to spritz the back of this with that clear coat just to add an additional layer of weatherproofing. Not that this is going to see a lot of rain or moisture, but just to help give some extra life to these panels. So we'll just tape off a couple holes and we'll just quickly spray this. Probably won't even really let it dry. We'll just hang it on the door, it'll dry in there. But just a little extra to help keep this from absorbing moisture. Again, humidity, condensation, whatever. But we don't want to do this again, this is a pain. So I'm gonna get these in here. I already have these tightened up. I zipped off the ends of my screws. They look really good in the car. I can't wait to show you guys. And then we are going to take our cup holders, and because I'm not going to punch those out right now, but I am going to take a little bit of, in this case, Tessa tape, and just mark where these holes are on the back sides, so I don't have to try to guess where to punch a hole in these door cards later on. I'd rather align the door card first and then make sure the cup holders fit where they're supposed to, seeing as how these are aftermarket, cup holders are aftermarket. I don't even know if I have hardware for those cup holders. I'm gonna have to find that out, or find some hardware. If not, let's make a run to the hardware store. But again, hey, if I'm gonna try to have this video out, I'm hoping, let's see, today is a Sunday. So by Tuesday or Wednesday, and hopefully that gives you guys enough time. If you want to see this car in person, we are going to make an effort to get this I'll post a link in the description for the car show. And see, this one's a little tight. So we'll just try it the other way, work it around a little bit. But so I'm obviously in Wisconsin. There is a first annual car show in Greenville, which Greenville, Wisconsin is just a little bit north of the, I guess northwest of the Appleton area. So I'm gonna have this car there. That'll be the car's first car show. You guys are welcome to come out. I will try to let people know where I'm gonna be parked, but I could almost guarantee you this will be the only white Trans Am GTA. I'll argue maybe in the state, if not the Midwest. So come out, say hi, take a look at the car, and this should just be a good time. One of the other videos I want to shoot after probably these door cards go in is I was kind of thinking as I was sitting in my shop trying to reorganize and clean because I have tools just everywhere right now, is there were a number of items that I bought that didn't really help me in this process, to be honest. But there are also a handful of things that I bought, tools that I acquired, that were super handy, super helpful, that I used way more than I originally thought potentially. So I just kind of want to lay those out maybe on a table and just kind of go through why I bought it, where I used it, how valuable those were to me, and if you guys are in the process of restoring, potentially any car, not just an F-body, you might find some value in it. And again, I don't want to say I got lucky along this build, but it was not an inexpensive build, and I was able to buy a lot of stuff on clearance, on discount, on sales, waiting for certain times of the year, just to try to get the best price on parts, because let's face it, car parts are up there, and a lot of them are subject to tariffs and inflation like everything else in life. So, but looking back, I don't think I would do anything different potentially. I take that back. I think if I were to do everything again, one of the few things I would do different is maybe revisit my torque arm and the transmission cross member. Nothing against QA1. It's a super solid piece. You guys saw that video. If you didn't, it's probably somewhere around Christmas time if you go back and look at those videos. But I would probably get the slightly modified transmission mount that gives you a little bit of extra exhaust clearance. And that particular transmission mount would require a more stock-ish designed torque arm, where this QA1 torque arm was very specific to bolting into the QA1 transmission cross member. So that might be the only thing I did different, but I may end up taking this to a muffler shop. Just I measured it right now, like as it sits now with the weight in the car. I mean, I'm barely getting 2 fingers here. I love the stance, but it'd be great to try to tuck that exhaust up a little higher. I'm about 3.5 inches off the ground with my exhaust right now. So I'm hoping someone with a real exhaust shop can maybe take the Y pipe I made and tweak it a little bit. Or if I give them a little leniency, like, hey, do what you have to do with the transmission cross member and a few other things. You have to grind and weld an extra exhaust mount somewhere, maybe just give them that go ahead to do it. But if I can get an extra inch out of this, I think that'd be perfect. I think 4 to 4.5 inches of exhaust clearance will get me everywhere I would need to go. Certainly there are a lot lower cars out there, but overall, super happy. Oh, there is one more thing. I believe I haven't put a vacuum gauge on this yet, so I don't know how much vacuum I'm creating. But the brakes are a little soft around town. Now, if I was to go up on the highway, run some higher RPMs and come down, the brakes are super firm, super great. So I might just have a, with the size of the cam and everything else, a little vacuum issue. So we'll monitor it. We'll kind of see what the brake situation is if I need to stop fast around town, and just keep a mental note of that. But I don't know, maybe next year over winter, maybe this gets a hydro boost set up and we don't have to worry about it. Or if I can find some type of vacuum reservoir tank or whatever they're called. I'm pretty sure these, trying to remember when I disassembled everything, but I'm 90% confident this had one stock from the factory. So maybe I just need to put another one of those in line. But I'll probably give Eric over at S Motorsports a call, see what his recommendation is, because he has a very, very similar build. So, oh, by the way, new favorite energy drink. This one's called Form Energy, PHORM. They're not sponsored, but if they want to be, I'd take a pallet. All right, that is done. We got all the clips in. I'm gonna go get some tape and some clear coat and just the back of this door card, and I think I'll move you. We'll get the door open and we'll start getting this clipped in, mark our holes for the cup holder, which I think is not that one. Gets this cup holder, right? Wait, I gotta think orientation here. There we go. This cup holder, and we'll figure out how and what holes need to be marked on that, and then we'll clip this thing on the door. It has been on an inaugural ride before. I will take you along for a ride at some point. I primarily wanted to make sure I didn't get any loud wind noises or whistling coming through the windows that needed alignment before I clip these in. So I'm happy enough with it. Where it is, it's pretty quiet, giving, considering what it is. So that's why I'm gonna move forward. And again, I want to get this thing, looking great for that first car show. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun car drive. All right, let's get going. Career work is fun. I think. So that's that one, that one. Big one. Right there. I got too much crap in the shop. All right, so I got those marked kind of with some tested tape. The almost local off. Getting this to hang. I might have to roll the window down. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I may have to roll the window down a little bit. Now you guys can kind of see what I'm saying. Oh, that's right. Oh, I turned the battery off. I was wiring in the new transmission cooler. Maybe I'll show you guys that. A little outside this video, but harness is back on. Oh, step on a torque wrench, that's good for it. Okay, window down. Let's give us a little more room, I think, to see what we're doing. Yeah, I can't wait to show you guys on our drive. It's gonna be, yeah, hopefully you guys like it as much as I do. Okay. This is always fun because this is all new. Nothing's been stretched out yet. Let's just see if we can get a feel for how far we gotta go here. In a little bit and down. That doesn't line up right there. How's this look? Pretty close there, pretty close there. What I'm doing is I'm just checking a few of the alignment holes on here. Because remember, we got new weather seals we have to press into, all around the door. We already did check to make sure all this fit. We got to make sure these for the armrests are going to hit where they're supposed to. And well, that's one thing I didn't check was the armrests. Let's see if I can. Let's go grab an armrest and check that out quick, since I'm thinking about it. So are you. Ooh, these need to be cleaned. Holy smokes. Well, once these are more gray right now because of the dust. But these will, I promise, these are not necessarily this color. They're just exceptionally dirty, never been cleaned. So the only hole we didn't mark was up here, but I think, yeah, those are just a keyed hole on the bottom. So I think as long as we get those pretty much aligned, we can probably feel around in here, even look at the other door card, get a feel for where that other hole is. But yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm using to clean these too. Maybe I already did, I don't remember. Okay, let's see how we are on. Everything else looks like it lines up pretty well. I could go over a little bit. Okay. All right. Give me a second to think about how I want to clip this together. I may want to start at the back, work my way to the front so I can kind of see and peek underneath it to make sure the clips aren't going in at an angle. We don't want to, remember, this is just still at the end of the day cardboard and plastic. So, but I'm pretty happy with this. The way the window is, all this is going to eventually settle in nice once it gets some heat to it. I don't see any places where plastic is showing here. Man, I already got dirt and stuff on here. I'm gonna have to clean these too. But quick, just, well, let me just show you let me show you what I mean here. So in a 92 Trans Am GTA, you had the option of getting a limited color called beige. It's not saddle, it's not whatever other color brown, it's beige, and it was 92 only. That came, I'm getting that info from online, but also from Jack over at Camaro Hill, and BJ actually at Hawks. So all the trim you see here is that beige color, okay? It says it on the RPO code, everything. So trying to get a good match to the doors and the seats. So we went with a little bit darker. It's very close. Now these are exceptionally dirty, but you know, if you look at kind of the stock door card versus the clean one, I think it's, I like it. I think it's gonna be a good fit, good match. Our painted trim looks pretty nice, being more shiny than matte. And these were close. When I do the video, I will send you what I put in the email to BJ to get this color and the material. I can't remember. I went with the cheaper material up here. or down there, I can't remember. There's a whole bunch of, you basically have three options, right? There's 3 different types of fabric or material on the store. So I'm gonna put you on high speed. I'm gonna get this clipped in carefully, take my time. I'm gonna get some spray, clean up wherever I might've gotten some oil or grease. And then I do have a little surprise for you guys on the side of the doors. And then we gotta I'm not even gonna worry about putting the door handle on yet. I have to clean and soak and scrub that. But we're gonna get the other door cards started. And then we'll move on to the other things that we have to do in here. Maybe if it doesn't rain, well, it looks like it's raining now. Maybe if it's done raining and drier, we can take it for a spin. Okay, so you guys might have seen that in the high speed. I had to make sure this was all the way set down. Again, that's probably because this new rubber is so, well, new. But now that that's all set down, everything fit pretty good for an aftermarket door card. Instead of me trying to push right on this fabric, and I actually decided to get the dead blowout, and it was easy enough just to kind of look. If it was in the hole, just give it, with the dead blow, it's just a small tap, drove it right in there. And that looks pretty good. All right, we're gonna work on getting the rest assembled. I'm gonna bring you back when it's done. You don't need to watch all that. If I happen to find anything that I think you might find interesting, I'll turn the camera back on. But I need some music. It's still early, and I gotta finish that energy drink yet. All right, so I wanted to show this. So these are Classic Industries, I believe, aftermarket door handles for the GM. Fits a whole bunch of years. And they work and fit great, except there's this hole for this style, this generation. I think this is 92, the, I don't know, the arrow style, the triangle style. But you can see there is no bracket in that, and I just caught that, and this is the bracket I'm talking about. I just took a little die grinder, ground off the back of the rivets. But this piece is what we need to reuse. Get those out. And I should actually take a look at how, okay. Just like this, there are hole provisions in there. So I gotta fit this in there. I got some rivets and a rivet gun. We'll re-rivet it onto this bracket. And then we'll be able to screw all this in. There's one screw hole back here that the front catches, and then this is the one that is supposed to be for that. So that's good to know. Hopefully, gosh, I'm really, really hoping I didn't throw the other one away. Ugh, I'll have to look. Otherwise, we'll be running to the junkyard or making a bracket, because, you know, we might as well do it to that one before we put the door card on. So FYI, if you're using those parts, you will need that bracket. Here you have it. One completed door. The cup holders fit okay. As you can see, there's a couple different color browns going on here, but I think what I might do is, even though these are original, I think I'm gonna look for a pair. I think that's the saddle. I gotta look on Hawk's website, but I'm thinking long-term, maybe I will find an armrest color that matches that, and that'll kind of make the doors look at least a little bit more designed, if that makes sense. I think that color brown goes well with the other fabrics. That will tie in with maybe the slightly lighter seats I do later, and certainly what the existing back was. So for now, cup holders are in. That's great. I always like to have a place to put my energy drink. And all in all, everything went together pretty well. There's a little bit of cleanup I will do here, but that's one door. We're gonna do the passenger side next. You don't have to watch me do that. It's gonna be the same exact process as this, except more right hand, less left hand, more passenger side and driver's side, but you get the point. So thank you for catching another episode of Beyond the Manual. I hope this at least helps you along a little bit if you do go the aftermarket door card route. Again, I don't know about other brands, but these are ACC, I think, from Hawks, the ones that you custom order or whatever. I think it took about 8 weeks for them to get here. And again, I got the whole door hardware kit and everything with them, and overall went pretty good. So if you like what you're seeing, please hit the like and subscribe. I am working with the missus Beyond the Manual right now to potentially come up with some sweatshirts, hats, some things like that. But again, please hit that like and subscribe. Helps me and helps the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. And until next time, thanks for watching Beyond the Manual.